$10,000 a year is leaving your retirement account and you've never once seen it go. 10 grand out of the 40 a year your savings pay you to live on. A quarter of your income, 25%. No bill, no receipt. Nothing ever lands in your mailbox with an amount due. It's the biggest number you pay anybody, and it is engineered to be unfeelable. And it goes to a person you like, a person you'd wave at in a parking lot. Nothing illegal is happening. Nobody hacked you. You agreed to this, in a nice office with a plant in the corner, and the agreement was one small number said out loud, one time. Our fee is just 1%. 1%. It's the most successful piece of pricing in the history of money. It has to be. It's how a quarter of your income gets described as almost nothing to your face while you nod. Right now there are millions of retirements paying this, most of them people who could tell you their cable bill to the penny. Ask them what their advisor costs and they'll say 1%. Ask them what that was in dollars last year and watch the pause. That pause is the product. The whole trick lives inside one sneaky little word, and once I show it to you, no fee quote will ever get past you again. Let's go find it. First, how you got here, because you didn't do anything dumb. Usually it starts at the exact moment you're most careful. Retirement's coming. The 401k's the biggest number you've ever been responsible for. One mistake and there's no paycheck coming to patch it. So you do the adult thing, you go get a professional. And the meeting is wonderful, it really is. The plant, the handshake, the little bottle of water. They listen. They ask about your grandkids. There's a plan with your name on the cover, tabs, color charts. And then the money part. And it's so smooth, you barely register it as a price at all. We charge 1% of assets under management, industry standard. And honestly, some places now it's not even the full one. It's 0.96, it's been inching down, which they'll also mention, because a discount off a tiny number feels like a gift. Now think about every other price in your life. The roofer gives you a number in dollars, the dentist, dollars, even the taxman, dollars, on a form where you can hate it properly. The advisor is the only professional in your life whose price you have never heard out loud in dollars, not once. That's not an accident, that's the design. 1% of a big pile doesn't feel like spending because you never watch it get spent. It's skimmed, quarterly, straight from the account before the money ever becomes money to you. And your brain does the rest of the selling job for free. 1%. You tip 15, 20 times that on a sandwich. If somebody's managing your whole financial life, protecting everything you built for 40 years, of course that's worth 1 measly percent. Sure, maybe it even is. But you can't decide that until you hear the price in the right units. So let's convert it. Here's the sneaky word. When they say 1%, the question that matters is 1% of what? Because they quote the fee against your pile, the whole nest egg, but you don't live on your pile. You live on the stream that comes off it, and the pile and the stream are two very different sized numbers. Let's do it with a round million, just so the math is clean, and scale it to yours after. The percentages don't care. You've got $1 million saved. The old rule of thumb, so the money outlasts you, is you draw about 4% a year. Say it out loud. 4% of $1 million is $40,000. That's your income. That's what all that saving actually buys. Groceries and gas and the grandkids' birthdays, 40 grand a year. Now the fee. 1% of the pile, of the million, $10,000. 10 out of 40. The fee wasn't 1% of your life. The fee is 25% of your life. They priced it against the big number and they take it out of the small one. That's the entire magic trick. One word, of. $500,000 instead. Same trick, same quarter, 20,000 of income, 5,000 of fee. The pile changes, the proportion doesn't. 1% of assets is a quarter of a 4% income. Every time. It's just arithmetic wearing a disguise. And it gets a little worse because the advisory fee usually isn't the only skim. Ask what your money's actually sitting in. If it's the typical advisor-built portfolio, it's active mutual funds charging, call it 0.6, 0.7 a year on top. The index versions of the same exposure cost 5 to 15 basis points, which is rounding error money. Stack the layers and plenty of managed retirements are paying 1.5% all in. Run the conversion again. That's not a quarter of your income anymore. That's over a third. Oh, and the fee is loyal in a way your portfolio isn't. Bad year, market down 20, your income's getting squeezed, you're skipping the trip this year. The 1% still comes out. Smaller pile, same slice. In 40 years of markets, the fee has never had a down year. You carry all the risk. The fee rides shotgun and eats either way. Now, if you're not retired yet, you might be feeling safe over there. You're not drawing income, no stream to skim, right? So here's your version, and it's honestly uglier. While you're still saving, the fee doesn't take your income. It takes your compounding. 1% off the top of every year's growth, every year, for decades. Take somebody 50-ish, 500 grand saved, solid shape. Market does 7, their account nets 6 after the fee. 20 years later, the no-fee version of them has about 1.9 million. The fee version has about 1.6. $330,000. Gone. And here's the part that should bother you. The fees they actually paid were about 180 grand of that. The other 150 never existed. It's what those fee dollars would have grown into if they'd stayed in the tank. The fee didn't just cost money, it cost the money's children. Give it 30 years instead and the gap isn't 330 anymore. It's north of 900,000. Don't take my word for the mechanism, by the way. The SEC, the government's own market cop, publishes a worked example of exactly this on their investor site. Smaller numbers, same lesson. Fees compound in reverse. Okay, but I'm paying for expertise. They beat the market for me. So 2 things, and I'll be quick. Most advisors don't even claim that anymore. Read the plan binder. The word is personalized, not outperform. And the funds they pick, the 0.6% ones, decades of scorecard data on those, most don't keep up with the boring index after their own costs. You're often paying a quarter of your income for someone to buy you the expensive version of the thing you could own for 15 basis points. And the free advisor? Quick word about that one, because it's the other door out of this, and it leads somewhere worse. No fee at all usually means commissions. Front-loaded funds that take up to almost 6% on the way in, trailing kickbacks out of the fund's fees every year, and the big game, we did a whole video on it, the steak dinner annuity paying the broker 6-8% of your rollover in one bite. Since 2020, there's a rule that says brokers have to act in your best interest. And it sounds great, and it is not a fiduciary standard. It mostly means the conflicts come with paperwork now. Most advisors in this country can still legally earn commissions on what they steer you into. The ones who legally can't, who only ever work for you, are a small sliver of the industry. You have to go looking for them. We will in a minute. A quarter of your income, described as 1%, and the description is technically true. That's the gap this whole channel exists for, the number they say and the number you live. If somebody you love has a guy with a plant, send them this one and subscribe while you're there. Now the fair shake, because there's a real version of this profession and it saves people. Here's the strongest case for the other side, and it comes from Vanguard of all places, the low-fee people. Their research says a good advisor can add up to 3% a year in value, not by picking hot stocks. Almost all of it is behavior, tax moves, rebalancing, and mostly grabbing your arm before you sell everything at the bottom of a crash. And that's real. I mean it. If March 2020 or 2022 had you one click away from cashing out your whole retirement, and a phone call stopped you, that call was worth years of fees. Maybe a decade of them, one conversation. If you know that's you, if you've done the panic sell before, then a good advisor isn't an expense. They're insurance against yourself, and I will not talk you out of them. Same if your life is genuinely complicated. Business getting sold, stock options, an estate with moving parts, a spouse who'd be lost with the money alone. Real planning is a real profession. The problem was never that help exists. The problem is the meter it runs on. The 1% isn't priced to the work, it's priced to your pile. The advisor with 50 clients at $1 million each isn't doing 50 times the work of one, but he's collecting 500 grand a year, forever, mostly for existing. Pay for the help. Just pay for it like you pay for everything else you respect. A price, in dollars. So here's the homework, and this one's fun, in a terrible way. If you have an advisor, ask them one question at the next review. In dollars, all in, what did I pay last year? Your fee plus the fund's fees. If the answer comes back in percent, and it will, smile and ask it again in dollars. A good one will have the number ready and be proud of what it bought you. The pause, the well, it's complicated, the reach for the pie chart. You just heard everything. Then do the one division they never do. That dollar number divided by what you draw in a year. That's your quarter. Yours might be better. Know it either way. If you're shopping for help, 3 words and a phrase. Fee only fiduciary in writing. Fee only means they can't take commissions at all, ever. Fiduciary in writing means yours is the only side they're on. Plenty of them charge a flat yearly price like an accountant, a number you can hear, compare, and hate honestly. And if your situation's simple, a boring index fund at 15 basis points doesn't call you on your birthday, but it also never takes a quarter. Because that's the rule this channel keeps arriving at, one product at a time. You can't judge any price until you hear it in dollars, in your units, the ones you actually live on. Percent is how they say it. Dollars is what you pay. If this one found your quarter, subscribe. Next up is a shiny one, the crash-proof gold they market straight at your retirement fears, where saying yes can cost you 20% before the price moves an inch. Bring your mom's phone number, she's seen the ads. See you there.